Do you know that if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, there would not be one person of color that we say thank you as a nation to for helping us get to the point where we are today. That's the only single person of color that we say as a nation, thank you, Martin Luther King, for living the life that you led. I still find it incredible, Craig, that we still use the word race as a cultural determinant, because I detest what we've done to ourselves. Out of a need to make ourselves different from one another, we've made the word race a way of expressing culture. There's no such thing, and on all you high school students, bless your hearts for being here. You're 100 champions right now that are going to go out understanding this. The adults in the room will never understand it. Even though they'll nod their heads and say you're right, they'll never be able to stop using the word race as a cultural determinant.
El pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de Los Ángeles se porciúncula, pendejo.
In the late 70s, a young Chicano actor named Edward James Olmos, in his first mainstream break, delivered a powerful and intense stage performance as El Pachuco in Luis Valdez's Zoot Suit.
Más chucote que la chingada. Pues órale.
Cuando voy al vacilón y me meto a un salón, las chavalas gritan, vamos a bailar canzón.
That role would earn him a Tony Award nomination and, just as important, a place as a new standard bearer of Latino culture, not only to those who observed it, but to those who lived it.
Don't give me that bullshit. I got this filero from you.
Did I tell you to kill the vato? Control yourself, Hank. Don't hate your raza more than you love the gringo.
In 1988, Olmos portrayed real-life teacher Jaime Escalante, who turned his East LA students into math whizzes in spite of their difficult backgrounds. The film, Stand and Deliver.
Those scores would have never been questioned if my kids did not have Spanish surnames and come from barrio schools. You know that.
The film, like the man Olmos portrayed, inspired students to become standouts. In Latino communities throughout the nation, it reignited a sense of hope and self-esteem, and it earned Olmos an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, and vindicated his dedication to films that matter. His directorial debut, in which he also starred, was a 1992 film of equal but altogether different power, American Me.
And action.
Open your eyes up.
Oh, baby, don't you know I'm human?
A brutal, realistic look at Chicano gang life in East LA.
Running that show on the inside's one thing. Running out here's a different trend.
The movie represented Olmos' belief that gang life was as destructive to Latinos in its own way as the oppression and injustices of the outside world. The film shows gang life teaching dysfunctional and destructive images of discipline, pride, and power. This time, not all the attention that his work received was welcome. Olmos got death threats from the Mexican mafia, and for a time, he feared for his life. Such concerns did not slow down Olmos or his pursuit of meaningful roles.
I do the work that I do, and have done the work that I have done over the years, because I have received an inheritance. I did not receive an inheritance as far as wealth. I am here as a result of an inheritance of a work that was left to me by my predecessors. There are challenges to the inheritance that I received. There's emotional challenges, there's spiritual challenges, there's intellectual challenges, there's also physical challenges. But I willingly accepted the inheritance.
Right now, we're still about 96%, 97% European-based history. So when our children go into the schoolroom and classroom, what do they get? They get immediately, from the first grade on, they receive a Caucasian and European-based history, which in turn is really quite interesting because it drives something home to you that really is off balance. And if we are truly to be balanced, if we are truly to be in harmony, if we are truly giving of one another, and we really believe in the faith that has gotten us to this day, and have a spiritual understanding of who we are as human beings, then we have to open ourselves up to the contributions of people who are not from Europe.
Black people, African Americans, however you want to go by that, can have the most PhDs we've ever had in our history, but have the lowest test scores on major standardized tests and exams. They have some of the worst educational conditions. How can we have the most lawyers and judges we've ever had in the history of our people in this country and have the incarceration rates where we only make up 13% of the population and make up, in some cases, 40, in some cases 60, and in some states 80% of those incarcerated? How can we have the most medical doctors ever in the history of black people in this country and be at the highest of every indicator of horrible health? Hypertension, HIV, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer. How does that paradox exist? How can we have the President of the United States of America represents, as far as his cultural makeup and how he presents himself to the world as a black male or as African American, how can we have him as the head of the nation state and still have the egregious political backpedaling and retracting of laws that or trying to create equality?
The man who became an actor along the way, almost incidental to his search for his sense of himself as a human being, teaches that there is only one race, the human one. Edward James Olmos' message and his example to the nation's vast spectrum of color and age and class is that hard work makes all things possible. It is his own sueño americano, the American dream.
And that's a perfect way to end this play. Happy ending y todo.
As the Admiral of the Battlestar Galactica, to say it to all of you. There is but one race, and that is it. So say we all. So say we all. So say we all.
So say we all.